Hi, everyone. Happy that you could be here today. We are in the fourth episode of Healing Differently, the homeopathy podcast for modern wellness. I'm Laurie Wheeler of Wellness Within, and I just want to share a little bit about the concept of burnout. So, we're going to talk today about stress, burnout, and the body's cry or the way it communicates for balance. So, you know, if you if you've ever experienced the body whispers before it screams, it doesn't just suddenly slam it to you. But most of us don't really learn how to listen, or sometimes we don't want to listen. Sometimes we just want to keep going. But burnout really doesn't come at you suddenly, like I said. It builds its momentum. It starts with a signal, maybe a very small signal. And most people, or many people, don't realize they're depleted until symptoms force you to stop. And that can be in so many different ways. But stress just isn't mental as well. It's biological, it's emotional, and it's energetic. And it depletes our vital force, or what we know, our vital energy, or our chi, whatever you want to call it. And this is just a little information to wake you up to say, hey, wait a minute. Let's recognize these symptoms or these signals before something begins to break down. And honestly, I've had this happen to me in my life many, many times because I just have kept on going. But now I've really learned to listen. Not only listen, but take action. So I want you to realize that burnout is not about, oh gosh, I'm feeling lazy or I'm lacking motivation. Well, there's a reason that this happens. Burnout is the depletion of your own being, your own body's regulatory energy, because this goes on without your even knowing it. Your body, your being, your whole being, it's such a magnificent being that we are, and the way it is designed. And our life today keeps us in the output mode, and I'm talking computer language here, without recovering. So even the computer has to go into quiet mode, right? So we do that, when we go to sleep, but oftentimes that's just not enough, because in our sleep, what we're doing is we're taking in our subconscious now, we've taken all that into the subconscious, and then we're so busy processing while we're sleeping. So the even the stress hormones stay elevated, and then what happens is our nervous system really never resets itself, and so over time your body can lose flexibility and resilience. So I want you to understand that burnout, it's not a failure. It's really just asking for rebalancing. And so how do we do that? Well, if you can go away from what causes you to come out of balance, that's great. A weekend away, a day away, whatever. Sometimes even just a few hours helps to reset. But you may not have that luxury. You may be a mother or a father who's working a job, two jobs, whatever. You've got kids at home that are constantly in need of attention. Maybe you're a caregiver. Maybe you're not any of that. Maybe you are just a single person working at your greatest potential, working very hard for this. But I want to talk about the early signs of depletion and how that affects all of those people that I've just spoken about. So some of the early signs are waking up tired even after you've slept. And I know I can go through this myself when I'm working on a lot of things all at once. And sometimes you can look at my desk and see all of the papers and all of the things that I've got going on. And I can be very tired when I wake up. And I don't know if that happens to you. You get a good night's sleep. Maybe you go to bed at 9 o'clock, to try to ward off that exhaustion, but you still wake up tired. Maybe you're feeling emotionally kind of flat or feeling very easily overwhelmed at times. Like, just don't tell me one more thing because I can't take in any more. Sometimes you look to your cravings and maybe you're craving a lot of sugar or caffeine. You got to reach for that cup of coffee or another cup of tea, or maybe you're feeling overstimulated in your function, uh just the way it's happening, like just feeling tense inside of yourself. Maybe you're getting sick more often than usual, or you're having a lot of digestive issues, and that can be food not settling in your gut where it normally would. Or maybe you just don't feel like eating, or maybe you feel like eating more than usual. It could be also that you're having some forgetfulness. Information's not holding. Maybe you feel foggy in your brain. I hear a lot of this as well going on right now. Sometimes it's that you can do things that normally would make you feel really good, and you're not feeling the joy or the happiness in that as well. So, uh, these aren't really random things that happen, symptoms that happen. They're signals that the system is just really running on a reserve at this time. And this is going on a lot right now and has been for some years that I'm hearing with people. And I myself have experienced this also. So I know what I'm saying is really holding true. And oftentimes we just keep on going, going, going until something stops us dead in our tracks. And usually that's not a great happening that occurs for you. So we must become what I think is the great observer of ourselves. And it's really important to check in with yourself because the body can compensate until it can't any longer. And our biology will then become compromised. So, how do we turn this stress into physical, or how stress turns into physical symptoms? Well, I've talked a little bit about this, but stress always moves somewhere in the body. So if you're not processing your emotions, maybe you're feeling sad, maybe you're feeling tight somewhere, maybe you're feeling it like, once in a while when something comes up for me and I feel emotional about it, but I'm not paying attention to it, or what I'll say is, I'm not making time for it. Then it'll express. I can feel it in my chest. I can feel it in my heart. I know something wants to come up and it wants to talk to me about something that's hanging around in there. And I need to give it the time. So, common stress pathways are in the gut. So we'll notice we get indigestion, or we'll have bloating, or maybe you have IBS or some type of chronic stress that's going on there. The muscles, oh my gosh, it affects the muscles. They'll be tight, they'll be painful, they'll feel tired. Maybe you're not checking in or feeling your hormones. Those are chemical reactions that we have that affect our sleep, they affect our weight, and they affect our mood. Like I was just talking about how they affect me I can feel it in my chest. And then, we've got the immune system. And oh gosh, that can, if the stressors have been hanging around for quite a while and we're not giving it what we should, we can find ourselves just becoming sick more frequently. maybe you're catching a cold more often than you usually would, and you're blaming it on, oh, I haven't been getting as much sleep as I should, or I'm out in the cold air more often, or I've been out with people that have been sick more often. And that may be so. But if you're in that, balance, your body will be able to balance itself out. So here's my homeopathic perspective. Symptoms are adaptive responses. Our body, it's an amazing functioning being, and it's trying to protect the equilibrium and bring things into sort of a status quo. And suppressing symptoms without restoring balance, it increases strain actually to the system. So just try holding in your breath, or holding in a sneeze, or covering up a rash. Well, if you've ever done that, the body's designed to express what isn't balanced or what needs to come up or come out. So, I really, when I take a case or when I think in homeopathic terms and we look at symptoms, symptoms are a communication. They're not a malfunction. They're not, oh, the body's not working properly. It's really a communication to you. Your own body is trying to talk to you, it's trying to tell you something here. And oftentimes we don't give it the time to listen to it. So here I've got just this little thing that I think is really kind of very easy to do. You can do it anytime. It just teaches us to to kind of reset. So I want you to stop for just a minute. This is a body check, okay? Takes 30 seconds maybe, and ask yourself, where do I feel tight in my system? Or do I feel tight in my system? And now just watch where your mind goes to in your body, because you'll tell yourself this. And then where do I feel heavy? And maybe it's not a physical symptom or feeling. Maybe it is an emotional feeling. And where is that resides in your being? And then where do you feel numb? If you do, is there any tingly or numb feeling in your system? So this is just checking in with your body. Now, the second part of this is a breath reset. So um, I think it's good to just take a moment, okay? Take a moment, take a slow inhale through the nose on the count of four. And then on the count of four, hold it for four. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then an emphasis on that long exhale. And this is trying to reset your nervous system and telling it that it's safe, that it's okay. So let's do that on a count of four. In, hold for four, and exhale, maybe out for 8. So let's do that together. Let's take a deep inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, holding it, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now if you do that numerous times, it's going to be different for everybody. But I think if you just close your eyes and you do this, you'll know how long you need to do it. So here's an honest question. What does my body need right now? So ask yourself this. What does your body really need right at this moment? Maybe it needs a break for a moment. Maybe it needs to go away from what you're doing. Maybe you need to look at yourself and ask yourself more about these questions and hear what your answer is, giving it the time to listen. And not tomorrow, not eventually, but just right now in this moment. And this isn't a meditation. This is physiological regulation because you're giving yourself this time to breathe in and regulate. It's a small and very consistent reset. And what you're doing is you're working at preventing a burnout of accumulating. So regulation is more powerful than rest when the system is overwhelmed. And a great way to do it is through the breath. So burnout is a signal of imbalance, but it's not a failure. So if you go to it's a failure, just simply do that breath for a moment and tell yourself this is just a signal of imbalance. That's all it is, and I'm paying attention. The body gives warnings consistently well before a crisis happens. You've got to listen to that internal talk that goes on because listening earlier reduces suffering later. Trust me, I know this firsthand and I know it from all the clients that I've worked with. So try this 2 minute self check every day, several times a day. Do it for 1 week and see just what you notice. See if there's any types of changes that occur for you. I guarantee something's going to shift. Something's going to make its way apparent to you, and you're giving it yourself time to listen to yourself, which is so important for you. So, our next episode will hinge on this one, and we're going to talk about why symptoms are intelligent signals, but they're not problems to silence. So, when we stop something up, it finds a way to express itself. I hope this has been good for you. I'll see you next time. Please keep on breathing, keep on communicating, keep on listening. Bye for now.